Mixed martial arts, the sport made popular with Ultimate Fighting Championships, has arrived in Watertown. A cage match held at the Watertown Convention Center December 5th drew a crowd of 1,300 people. In fact, promoters had to turn away another 500. So what is mixed martial arts, and why are people drawn to it? The public opinion caught up with some local fighters last Tuesday to find out more. So for a layman, what's the difference between jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai?
Jiu-jitsu is groundwork involving submission moves, chokeholds, things like that.
So more on the wrestling side of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, working off your back. Wrestling, you don't work off your back. That's where we got to really work with wrestlers because they try to pin you, and then they don't do anything. Right. Jiu-jitsu, we don't mind being on our back because then we can finish a fight from our back. Chokes.
Really? Okay. I see.
Muay Thai is joints, knees, clinching, elbows, things of that nature.
Okay.
And then you've got your boxing, kickboxing,
which is then the striking stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Where like a lot of taekwondo, it's a lot of aerial kicks. Muay Thai is sharp kicks.
Okay. All right. So now, when you say mixed martial arts, is it basically those that are the ones being mixed, or is there other disciplines too that kind of come in, or
all kind? There's judo. Judo is a lot of hip throws and things of that nature. Clinching, throwing over the hip.
Okay.
Basically, any martial arts that you can bring to the cage that it's going to be useful. There's karate. Things like that.
Okay. All right.
Anything that's useful in the cage, it's legal. That's basically.
A few fighters took a break from training to talk to us about how they prepare for a match.
But when you do schedule a fight, you kind of know about your opponent, so you try to work on what he's good at, so you can expect everything.
All right.
How much lead time do you get before, to know who your opponent is, so that you can prepare?
Normally, I usually try to get at least a month in advance, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. Like Watertown, I had 7 people pull up, so I didn't know until Wednesday who I was fighting on Saturday, so it's
a little more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Is there a little bit of a scramble then at that point? Do you kind of change things last minute to try and adapt, or no?
Just kind of try to wing it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of people try to train for the fight, but most of the time you just try to get a game plan for it for yourself.
Well, I suppose like any other sport too, you got your strengths and you play to your strength.
Yep. You try to fight the fight as your strengths instead of trying to fall into their strengths.
Okay. What do you do to prepare?
I just lift and run a lot, and I come here and I like to roll with these guys, do a lot of submission wrestling, a little bit of kickboxing, but yeah, I think you really learn a lot about yourself,
Really?
And I don't know, just a lot about competing. You pick up a lot by putting your hands on and just getting in there and doing it,
A lot of training as far as weightlifting, cardio workouts, different jiu-jitsu drills that we do here, submission moves that we've learned, and the punching.
Now, what is a submission move?
It varies. It's pretty much how it works. It's like you try to put your opponent in a position where they can't get out of, and they're forced to tap out.
Okay, right.
So if that's like a rear naked choke, or if it's a Kimura key lock with the arms, and pretty much the objective is to break something of theirs.
We also asked Alan, who was one of the victors in the December 5th fight, how being a woman affects her experience with mixed martial arts.
I would have to say, being the only woman in Watertown fighting, it's a lot. It seems like a lot of pressure put on me, and being looked up to by other females that are trying to pursue and do the same thing that I am.
Right.
Being a role model, pretty much, is what it is.
Okay, all right.
How do you get treated by the guys?
How do I get treated? I'm one of the guys, pretty much. It's no big, no preferential treatment. That she's a girl, take it light on her. I'm one of the guys. If I get hurt, they tell me to suck it up, pretty much.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Some think mixed martial arts is too brutal, but those in the cage have a different take.
I grew up in a wrestling family, so once they saw my first event, they grew to kind of accept it. And I think with the boxing commission being around and endorsing the sport now, a lot of people are taking a more positive outlook towards it. So,
if you see boxing, they box for 15 rounds, they get back up, And MMA, it's 3 rounds. Somebody gets dropped, they get on top of you, bang, bang, it's called. Yeah. You're not getting back up. Yeah. Boxing, they hit you, you have a chance to recover, you get back up, you get knocked down multiple times. It's a lot more risk, actually, for head injury than MMA. The thing is, the older people that are a little bit older, or maybe even my age, grew up with when the UFC first came out. It was bare knuckle, no rules. Basically, there was no rules. You know.
Yeah.
Now they've turned it into a sport where there's rules. They've got padding, officials, things like that are trained professionals. And it's an actual sport now instead of a barroom brawl.
So how do you get that out to the public that it's not what they perceive it to be?
I mean, a lot of the wrestlers already know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you wrestle, you kind of have an idea what MMA is about already. Yeah. This incorporates striking and things like that, and wrestling doesn't. But, I mean, as far as people that don't know about it, there's not a lot I can do.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I just got to say, you got to come in and see what it's all about. And if you see it.